actually a sign that your brain is leaking and that something more severe is actually going on. I'm Ollie Matthews, functional medicine doctor, nutrition therapist, and health coach for some of the world's leading entrepreneurs. Now, I deal with brain fog a lot and I deal with leaky brain a lot when it comes to clients. And it's something which, unfortunately, is more common than we like to admit. And especially when it comes to brain fog, we think it's just we're a little bit tired, or we like to push it to the side and we just leave it and thinking maybe we're just getting older. It's our hormones and these sorts of things. But what actually is leaky brain? And what are the signs that you actually have got leaky brain? Well, we have this blood brain barrier. We have this barrier around our brain that is there to stop toxins from getting to our brain and causing neurological inflammation. Things like metals and pesticides, different other toxins and chemicals. It's like this kind of border around our brain that will allow like the passport control, shall we say, that lets in oxygen, lets in good hormones that it needs to actually function effectively and to signal correctly, neurotransmitters and other vital nutrients for good overall health and brain function. Now, what happens is that there are very, very small, tight junctions on this blood brain barrier. And the more stressed we get, they become loose and they eventually have these little holes in them. Now, if you've ever heard the term leaky gut, this is very, very similar. We have a border around our gut as well. And the connection between our gut and our brain are very much linked. Now, when these borders become open, they let in these harmful substances, which can lead to certain severe issues in our brain when it comes to chronic degeneration or cognitive decline and chronic neurological degeneration over time. And it shows up as anxiety. It shows up as forgetfulness. Ironically, forgetting which one that was. It shows up as brain fog and things like that. But if we have poor gut health, if we have an unhealthy diet, if we have high levels of stress, if we have intolerances and we're still eating these foods, or sensitivity to foods and we're still eating these foods, or maybe we have poor detoxification systems. I talk about detox a lot, and we have viral infections or other dormant or infections that are just there and we're not dealing with them. These can actually lead to more severe things like a leaky brain, which are going to cause a lot more issues further down the line. There are like some big causes that we can look at. So gut issues, like if you've got dysbiosis or the infections, as we've said, I've mentioned leaky gut. Things like autoimmune conditions. If you have autoimmune conditions, whether they're diagnosed or not. Now, if you've been diagnosed with one autoimmune condition, it's very, very rare that people only have one autoimmune condition. And these are conditions where the body essentially attacks itself. Things like thyroid issues, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, two of the most common ones that people get diagnosed, whether that's correctly diagnosed or not. But if you've been diagnosed with autoimmune conditions, then you probably want to look a little bit further in there. And you can have neurological autoimmune as well. High levels of stress, big, big causes of leaky brain. Now, things like stress from your diet, stress from your environment, from the toxins around, as I've said, about poor detoxification systems, emotional stress. If there's stress in your relationships, if there's stress in your work side of things, just the psychological aspect. And if you have poor sleep, if you're not sleeping through the night, you're going to have excess levels of stress on your body. And things that also have a big influence are, I've spoken about the vagus nerve a lot. We have this nerve in the brain stem, in our brain axis, which goes down into our gut, into our other organs. And it sends signals down and back up, both ways. Now, if there's vagus nerve dysfunction, that can be a massive impact for leaky brain and impacting the blood-brain barrier. So we have to look at bringing that back online. And one of the kind of biggest ones we're seeing a lot nowadays is mold. Mold and other toxins that are actually causing this leaky blood-brain barrier. It could be that you actually have mold in your home and it's saturated into your tissues, that whenever you get exposed to that mold, you have problems and implications with your brain function. Other things that people get diagnosed with or actually could be down to the leaky blood-brain barrier are things like ADD and ADHD. Could be, as I said, about brain fog. It could be chronic fatigue. Maybe you're constantly tired and going to sleep, rejuvenating, doesn't actually bring your energy back online. It could be that you get loads of headaches and migraines all the time. Could be that you get very forgetful, you get loss of memory. Just you walk into a room and you don't know why you've walked in there. You're looking for your phone and it's actually in your hand. It could be that you get anxiety. It could be that you have low moods, low sex drive. These can all be linked with leaky brain. And it could be that you've been through some trauma in the past and that's actually led to a start of a leaky brain. And then your lifestyle has actually caused it to get more extreme over the years. And it also could be gone to the extremes where you're actually having seizures. And it's gone through a lot of decline that you're now having things like epileptic seizures or other seizures as a result of this leaky brain. Now, you can test, you can do some laboratory testing, so some functional testing to do this. Speak with a practitioner if you want to get any testing. But one thing you could do is there's a neurotransmitter called GABA, which shouldn't cross the blood-brain barrier unless you've got theanine as well. And if you supplement with GABA and you notice a difference, that could be a sign that your blood-brain barrier is compromised, because that barrier, as I said, should keep that out unless it has this transporter to cross that barrier. Now, you can do a GABA challenge. What is vital is that, again, first off, make sure that you don't react negatively to GABA really in a really, really bad side effect way. But get GABA, which is just GABA, not got theanine in it, just GABA. And then supplement with a good amount, like 3-4 grams of it. And have it on an empty stomach later at night. And if you notice a difference, like it really, really makes you drowsy. Maybe it makes you really irritable and frustrated. You get really frustrated when you have it. Then that's a sign that your blood-brain barrier may well be compromised. Now, if you do have a negative effect, like you feel more irritable, just have some protein with it, have some food that will just negate those effects. But you can do this GABA challenge. And what we need to look at then is how do we actually sort it? Now, everyone is going to be individual when it comes to supplement protocols, but there are things like acetyl L-carnitine, things like alpha-lipoic acid, alpha GPC, things like making sure you're getting the right vitamin D levels, the right B vitamins in there. That we could go on such a long list of supplements. But one of the big things we have to look at is we have to sort these triggers. What are the triggers that got you to this place in the first place? What are the triggers that caused this stress in the first place? Is it the chronic stress that you've been putting your body through left, right, and center every single day with building your business in this hustle mentality, this hustle mood, and pushing your health to the side? Thinking that I've not got money to invest in my health, but actually you know you need to invest in your health. You've not got the time to do it, but you know you need to invest in your health, and bringing on board your brain once and for all is going to actually give you more capacity. Is that going to be one of the triggers because you lose that excess stress that is causing? Is it something going on in your relationships that you have to look at, which is bringing a trigger stress-wise? If it's mold within your house, do you need to move? If it's circadian rhythm because of your job, do you need to change job? Now, these sound very extreme. And this is going to the extremes. Believe me, some people have had to do this in order to improve their health. But you could also look at improving your detoxification systems. We're never going to be able to actually stop toxin exposure. So what is vital is that we improve the way that our body can deal with detoxing these toxins and the things that gets thrown at it left, right, and center throughout each and every day of our lives, whether that's pesticides and diesel fumes out in the air if you live in the city. Then we can look at improving our gut health, managing our blood glucose levels with the right nutrition. We can look at improving our sleep with the right routine and with the right sleep hygiene in order to sleep all the way through the night. If you're waking up through the night, your brain function is not going to be optimal. If you are consistently waking up through the night, I guarantee that. And then again, get the right supplementation protocol in place. Maybe you need to use some adaptogenic herbs in order to help your body deal with stress. Now, I do work with people on this. So if you want to speak further about this and you want to talk about one-to-one coaching, simply drop me a message. But I've also got a brain fog course that you can look at blitzing your brain fog in 21 days. It's called the 21-day brain fog blitz. If you go to ojayhealth.com/brain fog blitz, you can grab your copy there. It's just £21. It's not going to break the bank. It's 21 days. You can see some improvements there. But if you want to talk further about one-to-one coaching, then please drop me a message and we can get on a call.